All right, guys, back here on Southeastern 16 with Max Barr. More SEC basketball transfers. The action picks up on a Tuesday, Max, which we've
Yep.
been waiting for. As we've got a little SEC to SEC transfer going on, as it is KeShawn Murphy heading from Mississippi
Murph.
State to Auburn to join the Tigers. Bruce Pearl lands another one here. Already landed one, Keyshawn and Hall this offseason. Now they land a big one, quite literally. We talk about this guy, 6'10", Birmingham native, so connection makes a little sense in terms of the state of Alabama.
Yep.
Average last season, 11.7 points per game, 7.4 rebounds per game, a block, about 2 assists. Shot 56.6% from the floor in about 24 minutes per game for Chris Jans' team. Max, this is a significant one. As we said, Auburn was one of those teams. You knew they were going to lose a lot in the front court, starting with Janai Broome, but also when you think about having to replace Dylan Cardwell, Chaney Johnson, those guys, big one to pick up a guy with SEC experience who's going to come in and fit quite well, I think, for the Tigers.
I can hear it already. KeShawn! Out to KeShawn! For 3! Bang! Gotta love it. If you guys haven't noticed, we love KeShawn Murphy here. We interviewed Mississippi State assistant coach Scott Padgett over last season. Loved the stories he had about KeShawn Murphy. If you don't know him, get to know Murph a little bit. Great kid. Absolutely great kid. You guys are getting a good one. Regardless on the court, off the court. Great person here in Murph. Quick, just a starter here. A quote from Bruce Pearl. I believe this is from Adam Cole. Some good reporting. Bruce said that they liked Murph going into Mississippi State already. Knew about him, liked his game, knew he was going to be good. This is what BP said. Knew he was going to be a really good player, but Murph was patient and has been there for 3 years now. Kind of reminds me a little of Jalen Williams. Played some early, saw signs. Now he's a terrific player. I like the comparison there from BP to Jay Will. If you're not familiar with KeShawn Murphy's kind of career trajectory, didn't play too much his freshman and sophomore years, was kind of in that stretch 4 role because they had Tolu Smith, all SEC center, right? And then this past year moves into that kind of that new look Mississippi State team that we had, the small ball, 5 out, and Murph gets about 24, 25 minutes a game as that kind of dynamic offensive threat. Great matchup at the 5 spot, Blake.
You want to talk about how long this relationship has gone on. This is what I kind of love in this era. You go all the way back. This is per 24/7 Sports. You know, they do their profiles and all these guys, recruiting profiles and all that. You go back to Murphy's recruiting profile. On September the 8th, 2018, he had an unofficial visit with Auburn. Says he attended the Auburn camp August 25th, 2019. Had an official visit to Alabama, September of 2019. So like that was a long time ago. So again, you know that this was a guy, a lot of the Alabama schools were in on him when he came out of high school. And like you said, you look at now what he's achieved for 3 years at Mississippi State, has really, as we said, I mean, last year was the big jump. That was the one he took when you look at the numbers the year before, 4.7 points, 3.1 rebounds. Now, you pretty much, you double both of those easily, 11.7 points, 7.4 rebounds. Block numbers, also go up and really just carved out a nice role. As you said, we love him here because of what he did for Mississippi State last year. Like he just seemingly continually became a guy that when you looked up, you're like, hey, if they're going to have a chance to do pretty well here, like they need him playing well. And boy, did he. He became really, Max, I would say, in terms of consistency, if you look at his numbers, he probably became one of the most consistent front court players in the SEC. Really, when you look all the way from the start of SEC play to the finish of the season, right? I mean, scoring wise, numbers are pretty consistent. Rebounding numbers are consistent. Block numbers pretty consistent. So I think that level of consistency, which always comes just with added experience, but I think that was probably the most notable thing for those numbers to jump that way. But this wasn't just a guy that was putting up big numbers early in the season. He became in an SEC that's very physical, and we talk about just kind of the different styles that you see. I mean, he became a pretty rock solid, reliable guy for Mississippi State.
We sounded like broken records there for about half the season. It's got to be a KeShawn Murphy game. It's got to be a KeShawn Murphy game.
Might be the same thing next season. We may be saying that a lot next season too. So, yeah.
Yeah, guys, really do not put too much weight into like, oh, well, he only just had this breakout this year. If you followed us in the summer too, it was a long time coming. You could see the flashes, like the eye test pops with Murph. Now, speaking of eye test, the 3-ball numbers are not there. I don't even think he made a 3 last year. I'm going to double check that right now. I don't think he did. The shot, though, is there. I mean, he played that stretch 4 role. He's in that dynamic role. He hits mid-range jumpers. That's his game. He loves a mid-range pull-up. Face to the, face up, jab step, get a little space. Murph will rise right up and knock it down. That's his game. So don't put too much weight into those shooting numbers. I think he's got the shot there. Just need a little bit of tweaking. 5 double-doubles this season, goes to your point, was just a monster for most of the year. When you're comparing him to Broome, right, because that's kind of what we're filling in here for, he's a capable passer, has some good passes on his highlights, but not as good as Broome. Broome's assist rate in SEC play was about 20%. Murph's was about 11. So not as much of a creator with the vision as Broome, but I mean, guys, it's going to be tough to replace a National Player of the Year type level player in Johni Broome. One thing that he does do, Blake, that is going to be a very welcoming stat for Auburn fans. Murph doesn't foul. Murph does not foul. He's one of the best guys at defending without fouling him in high volume minutes. He's only fouled out once in his whole career. And this past year, he only had more than 3 fouls 4 times. The whole year. Okay? He only had more than 3 4 times the whole year. The guy does not foul. And that was pretty much the name of the game coming down the stretch there for Auburn's defense. So there you go.
Yeah, no, it's good defensive awareness. I think you can tell just for a guy that's 6'10", really good with knowing where he needs to be to impact, shots on the defensive end, and obviously finding good spots on the offensive end to get easier shots close to the rim and those things too. So we talked about the high percentage, which, is nice to have when you're 6'10". You can get those easy shots, whether it's just off of dunks or putbacks or those kind of things. So he'll definitely bring all that to the table. And to expand quickly on your point about, like, don't just look at it as, all right, he had one good season. Remember who he's playing behind the year before. He's playing behind Tolu Smith. And I think that's important to note. Like, Cam Matthews has been there kind of in that 4 role forever, seemingly. But, Tolu Smith, it was hard to get a lot of minutes for Murphy, again, the year prior to this year. Like, it was not going to be easy, but he started to sort of show some of those things with the potential. This year, he had more opportunity. So I think it's also going to help the fact that he's played behind someone like that, one of the better big men in the SEC in recent years. Now he comes over and plays for a team that just had the best big man in the country in Johni Broome. And so you take that combination of learning from the different things in Mississippi State, being able to practice against those kind of guys, play behind a guy like that in Tolu Smith. But now you get to go over and you get to, probably see some of that film on Broome and see some of the things that worked within the system of how they're going to play. Every team's different. We know that, but there's still kind of that set foundation, I'm sure, that Bruce Pearl wants to work with, especially if we look at the way the rest of the roster is filled out, with a Pettiford, with a Baker Mazzara, like these guys that are coming back that have been there. I think that's going to be, also very important and why we think he can really thrive, you feel like, at Auburn now.
Yeah, and it opens up the things that they can do offensively. Just so versatile. And now looking at tempo, I think you're going to see a bit of a change in philosophy here. Just looking at the past 5 years for Auburn, where they've finished as a team adjusted tempo, 54th and 42nd, 21-22, then 160th, 23, jump up to 59th, and then this past year, right back into the half court, 134th. I think you jump right back up, Blake. I think they're right back in there, top 60-ish in adjusted tempo, getting out and running. Get the Keyshawns going. Keyshawn to Keyshawn. You're going to be hearing that. Get used to it.
Probably going to be Murphy to Hall for the 3 to start out with. But as you said, come on, let's get our guy some threes here. Let's see if we can get him out knocking out the Max Barr special over under 1.5 threes.
Is it now the Murph?
Can we? Yeah, well, you had it for Broom. That was your go-to.
Yep.
So now we've got to see if we can translate that to Murph here for you. So, yeah, any game 1. So need to know who's on the schedule for game 1. With Bruce Pearl, we need one, at least one attempt. That's what we want. But in all seriousness, like you said, I think he's going to keep developing his game. This guy is a pretty special talent in terms of just the athleticism that you can't teach. Like, he just can do a lot of things for someone that's 6'10", and just I think will come in and be a huge asset right away. Because, like we said, somewhat by necessity, just given the guys they have to replace, but also just with his talent, it's sort of undeniable at this point. So,
not too many guys that stand 6'10" with the college experience, SEC experience he has, that can do the things he can offensively. It's a great pickup.
Yep, it is for sure. So would expect him to be a big factor offensively for Auburn next season, in addition to the defensive end. So, going to play a lot of minutes, I think, for the Tigers next season. But there you go. There's some thoughts on KeShawn Murphy heading from Mississippi State to Auburn. As you guys know, we got all the transfers covered here at Southeastern 16. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on your notifications. That way you don't miss any of the new transfer videos or the transfer shows that we're going to do probably multiple times a week now, live shows, so you can get kind of our overall thoughts on lots of different teams out there. So, again, we appreciate your support of the channel. Again, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the stuff we have on the way. Thanks, as always, for watching. We'll talk to you soon at Southeastern 16.